Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. It's been a while since I posted a video out here. I'm Imake and I basically do a lot of the superhero stuff and all of that. If you're new to this video, this is your first video, well, pay attention, hang out here for a while and you will hear a lot of this stuff from me. This is what I enjoy doing. So for those of you who already know and those who don't know, Spider-Man is going to be coming to the Marvel Avengers game exclusively for PlayStation. Now, my goal is not to sit here and basically talk about something that is pretty much beating a dead horse by now, but I wanted to point out something based on the console war, because I think this is basically Sony kind of maybe not sticking it to Microsoft, but kind of moving their piece on the chessboard as to how this console generation that's coming up is actually going to progress. What's happening is Sony is actually setting the pace for what we're going to see. Microsoft, on the other hand, seems to be working on maybe pushing back against other people who might want to encroach using another business model. And those people, aka, are Google Stadia and whoever wants to bring an online game streaming service to the market. So Microsoft is actually, in my opinion, holding down that market share more than anybody else. And I think they've done a good job in pretty much putting Google Stadia in their place, which is the place of infancy, and not really knowing exactly what this gaming landscape is or not being prepared for the gaming landscape. So as much as many people might talk about, how the Spider-Man, is kind of petty of Sony and all of that, you have to understand that everybody is pulling out their tools right now. And everybody wants to sell consoles that have probably cost a lot of money in production and are going to most likely be affected by whatever sales or whatever business advantage you can get. And I see these complaints from a lot of Xbox people saying this is unnecessary for Sony. This is unnecessary for them. Microsoft has to buy Batman and make it exclusive and all of that. Well, no one stopped Microsoft from making or procuring IPs that they will be able to use down the road, which is even funny because they had all kind of already said that, it wasn't going to be a thing for Spider-Man to actually be in this game. Not like it was official, but it seems like all the discussion of that was kind of like put on the table. But just recently, they came and confirmed something that's probably not going to be out for at least a few months. So what are we seeing? We're going to see a new Spider-Man game, Miles Morales game, come out holiday 2020. It's probably going to be coming out with the PS5, most likely coming out with the PS5. We're probably going to see a remaster of Spider-Man on PS4. And most likely, this is just going to be something that puts the icing on the cake, perhaps when they're ready to announce the next Peter Parker Spider-Man game. This is probably what Sony is probably using, and they probably want to use it that way because, it was actually confirmed that it's going to be coming, what does it say? Early 2021. So there really is no date. Early 2021 could be April 2021. So if you think about all of that, then this is not just an exclusive. This is a marketing tool more than anything else. And so if Microsoft wants to play in this space, they need to find things that are very, relevant to use to compete. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not a Sony fanboy. Neither am I an Xbox or Microsoft fanboy. I want Microsoft to win nonetheless because last console generation, they were basically mediocre. And thankfully, Sony understood how important it was for them to continue to stay ahead. So they did do everything that they could possibly do as best as they could do it within that console generation. And they stayed ahead even till date. And I think with the launch of this next console generation, they also want to kick the door open, hit the ground running. And right now, it seems like Xbox has not necessarily prepared itself for the onslaught that Sony has brought. I mean, if you don't take into consideration this Spider-Man game, you look at the reveals from Sony and the reveals from Microsoft when they reveal their games, Sony has basically taken them, on a spin, spanked Microsoft in the face, and then kind of sat them down to sit in the dirt and lament as to how unprepared they are in this console generation. And truly, Microsoft may not necessarily be, like I've said, interested in this console generation in regard to this kind of bickering back and forth of who's got exclusives. They may want to take the cloud space, and who knows, that might pay off for them down the way. But right now, I don't think gamers were necessarily wanting to go into this console generation with the cloud in mind, because what Sony has successfully done and recognized that they successfully have is their own ecosystem. When you know what you got, you're going to use it very well. And Microsoft, they also know what they have, and they're probably, appealing to a small segment of the market that's willing to get subscription services, that's willing to maybe, engage in being able to carry their games everywhere. And perhaps many of us are going to, even as much as we're going to get our Sony PlayStation, we're going to get our Xbox Cloud subscription, Game Pass subscription, and put it in our back pockets and put our controller in a little backpack, just like Nintendo Switch allows for you to be able to carry your games around. I think what Microsoft may have done is inadvertently played a Switch. See what I did there? A bait and switch on the Nintendo ecosystem style by not just bringing out exclusive games to Nintendo, but making a ubiquitous system where more games that a player can have on their console are now available to players anywhere. That's a very strong, statement. And I think Microsoft may have played their cards right. And I think I'll talk about this in a separate video because it's quite interesting that many are not recognizing the power of the system, but are focused solely on a very small move that Sony has made, when in reality, there's a bigger picture. And Sony, yes, knows that there's a bigger picture here, but Microsoft also is focused on their bigger picture, and we need to look at that for what it is. So, yes, Marvel Spider-Man is going to be in the Marvel Avengers game. I'll be playing that. I've been talking about this on my other channel, the Gamey Daddy channel. I'll be bringing some of that, content as well here on the Video Game Fight School channel. For those of you who don't want to subscribe, in double spots, that's fine. You'll be seeing the content roll in as well. So that's pretty much my take on some of this, on one aspect of this. Stay tuned. I'll be talking a little bit about Xbox and how I feel their ecosystem is somewhat, kind of reaching into other aspects of the market, and they're probably going to own a big market share that's going to make them a juggernaut in that area. So I'll talk to you all soon, hopefully. Take it easy. Peace.